Hey everybody, great to be back with you out here in Clear Creek Canyon Park, giving you an update on the Peaks of Plains progress. I'm Jeff Hogue, the construction manager for the Huntsman segment of the Peaks of Plains Trail. We're out here standing on the south side of the creek, about a mile west upstream from Tunnel 1, on what's going to be a really special segment of trail because you're so far removed from the highway and the road noise from US 6 will be about the lowest in this area. What we're looking at here is a stone veneer that is so recognizable throughout the canyon. This stone veneer in particular is 6 inches thick, and it sits on top of the shotcrete wall that you can see behind it. So behind this shotcrete and stone veneer is actually a mat or a layer of welded wire fabric and some number 4 rebar that go horizontally and vertically and basically crosshairs around each one of those soil nails. The soil nails themselves are about 8-foot long sticks of number 8 rebar that goes into the soil and the rock behind. And you can see that plate up there and the nut, it actually cinches the shotcrete up against that welded wire and the soil, just really holding everything in place and keeping that earth back. So this stone veneer that we're looking at here is about an average of 6 inches thick and anywhere between 5 and 14 inches diameter around the stone. So if you look at it like a basketball, 5 to 14 inches this way or this way, but really just 6 inches thick. It's made out of some boulders that we've dug up during construction and excavation of the project. So some are reused on site, but we also get some of the bluer rocks that you see just upstream on US 6 from a quarry around US 6 and I-70. And then some of the redder rock that you see here traditionally we'll get from a quarry at the mouth of the canyon down US 6 that actually was an old Jeffco owned quarry. So you can see this nice mix of kind of adaptive reuse and really locally sourced material here. A lot of the boulders that are used to make up this stone veneer are way too big to be set on this concrete ledge that's at the bottom of the wall that gives it a strong base. The boulders are actually chipped and shaped by the crews, and they're really skilled artists in making each one of these rocks look like it was meant to be here, along with the spec'd mortar that is behind and around each one of these stones. Additionally, behind the stone veneer is this drainage mat you can see, this black mat. And what that does is it keeps moisture away from getting behind the stone veneer, because moisture is one of the number 1 killers of any type of retaining wall. So we've got this mat here, and also these masonry ties are about every 2 feet along this wall, and they give a little bit more support to the stone veneer as well. So we've walked across the creek and a little bit upstream, and we're here at another type of stone veneer we use on the project. And this stone veneer is actually 1.5 inches thick as opposed to the 6 inch we just looked at. And we use these on bridge abutments and viaduct abutments, which are just smooth concrete surfaces as opposed to the rough shotcrete we were looking at on the soil nail walls. Sometimes we'll refer to this stone veneer as the lick and stick, just because the process is so fast with this thinner stone and a little bit of mortar. It just gets built so much quicker than the 6-inch stone veneer across the creek on the soil nail walls. So now let's go check out the progress on the viaduct segments of trail and see how that's going. So behind me is one of the viaduct sections that we've talked so much about. Each one of these beams is cast in the contractor's yard and then post-tensioned. The post-tensioning process is really cool. Each one of these cables is pulled with a ram jack that actually stresses the cable to 46,000 pounds approximately. Each one of these beams is about 42,000 pounds. It maxes out a flatbed is how they're transported up here. They're about 36-foot spans, and each one, this one in particular has 34 cables, but they're anywhere between 28 and 36 cables per beam depending on the span. So far, we've set 17 of these beams in our first overnight closure. The goal for that overnight closure was to set 10 beams, but we crushed that by learning some efficiencies with the 190-ton crane, and we ended up setting 17 that first night. So that was a big milestone for us. We still have 83 more of these beams to set, but you can really start to see the final alignment and elevation of the trail. Now, the concrete deck will still need to be poured on top of these beams, and that's the final surface on which you'll ride your bike and walk and enjoy the trail. Thanks for joining us out here for this update. Until next time, get outside and enjoy some beautiful spring weather. Thanks everyone, take care.